So let us begin our journey into epistemology by looking at what I call common sense epistemology. And what I mean by common sense is that when I say knowledge, we are all aware of the concept. If you're an adult, you can understand me speaking. You kind of you understand what knowledge is in some way. If you went through the educational system, you were given opportunities to differentiate between knowledge and opinion. And the value of knowledge has been instilled in you year after year after year. So I like to look at epistemology by going back to common sense, right? If you are an educated bloke, there are some ways that these concepts are typically used in the news media, day-to-day conversation. And there is an expected meaning behind these. They may be crisscross and misuse of the words, but there are these common sense uses of these words. And this is what I mean by common sense. Before we look at the philosophers' very sophisticated definition, right? So first of all, we could say, what's an opinion? To opine something. An opinion is a belief. Well, let's not use the word belief. An opinion is a truth that you have. It's a personal truth. I opine there is a Rolls Royce in my driveway. I opine, right? It's my opinion. That means it's true for me. But when I use the word opinion properly through common sense, I don't need to give any evidence for it. I opine that the Miami Dolphins is the greatest football team ever. That's my opinion. Once that is my opinion, it means I don't need to give any evidence for it. So the word opinion really, it recognizes an inner truth that a person has. It makes you human, but no evidence is needed. Now, it's not conceit. An opinion can be true or false, right? I may not have the opinion there is a Lamborghini in my driveway. So it isn't in the truth that comes from your inner world without justification, you may say, but it is a truth for you. We do have opinions. We like to say that everyone has opinions, but opinions, as you can see in this level, is just true for you. And you act on your opinion, but there's no evidence needed because it's just a truth for you without being conceit. Conceit is really something else, and that you using your ego are declaring something to be true because you say it's true. Opinions are not the same. It's something you recognize as true. Let's compare or contrast opinion to belief. As adults, if I tell you I believe in something, I believe Miami Dolphins, the greatest football team ever. As adults, I'm telling you to think the same thing about the world. I want you to accept the truth in the world like me. This is what I'm conveying to you as an adult. Belief matters. So if I make this claim about the Miami Dolphins, you have a right to say, hey, why do you have that belief? I know of many other teams and I know their record. You have a right to ask that question because belief has in the background, when it's used properly, when it's used correctly, you have some kind of evidence for it. You have some objective evidence. You look at the team's record, you compare that team to other teams, you look at the history, there is some evidence. You have some logical analysis of why using the word that they're the greatest team, right? There's got to be some justification. When you make an opinion, the justification is not needed. That's the word. The word opinion allows you to make a claim of truth for yourself without giving justification. Belief requires justification. Now, you don't always have to give the justification. The world runs on belief. We trust what other people say. If you tell me something like this and it doesn't go outside of my general belief system, I accept it to be true and I run with it. A belief is a probable statement. There is some evidence. I know some things about that background. I just accept your words. You must understand beliefs run the world. This is often confused with knowledge. Knowledge does not run the world. We use belief. We accept people's words unless we have profiled them as being of challenging character. That means we think they're liars or something of some sort, right? So the word belief, when you use it as an adult properly, okay, it means you have some kind of evidence. You, the one who's using the word, has some kind of evidence. The other person has it. And then we just trust the person. When we use the word knowledge, often confused with belief. It means I'm very definitive about it. Like, for example, I can say, I believe it's going to rain tonight. And you say, why do you believe that? There's so many black, dark clouds in the sky. I may respond, okay, you could accept that. Suppose I say, I know it's going to rain tonight. And you say, how are you going to know that? Knowing well that no one can know it's going to rain because nature does what nature wants. No matter how dark the clouds are, it may not rain this evening. All right? That is, there's some things you can have good beliefs about, but you can never know it, like when it's going to rain tonight. Knowledge, when you make the claim, say, I know X, the expectation on the listener and the expectation on you who are using the word should be you're very definitive, you're very certain about it. Because if I say, I believe it's going to rain, I'm allowing nature to do its things because I understand how the world works and rain occurs when it wants to occur, when it's going to occur, right? But there are certain things I can know. I can know if there's a Lamborghini in my driveway. It's my driveway. I could go and look. All right. I can know that, well, let's not get into complicated examples right now. I can know there's an apple on my kitchen table. So I can look and I can observe. You can go and observe. All right. So the use of the word knowledge through common sense, it's definitive. Okay. It's outside of you. There's evidence for it. The biggest challenge to knowledge is this sense of confidence. When we get very, very confident, we oftentimes take a belief and convert it into a knowledge, even though it's not. For example, well, it's a bit controversial, but you're on my channel, so get with the controversy. There are times scientists discover something through inductive reasoning, all right? And they come up with a theory that explains a particular problem. These particular mosquitoes cause, a certain disease. And it's a great theory. It's wonderful, right? And so they are very certain about it. They have a lot of confidence, and it does work most of the time when they apply it. From that, we say we know something is going to happen. And this is confidence. We use that in common. I want you to accept that as confidence. I would talk like that as well. But when you get in deep knowledge, okay, you don't know for certain that these mosquitoes cause malaria. The confidence is so high because of the experimentation, the observation, people getting ill, and our response to the illness. The confidence is so high. There's a certain point when the confidence is so high in that belief because it's recurrence that we call it knowledge. This is something we do in common sense language. I'm going to accept that as common day-to-day parlance. However, when we get deep in philosophy, right, we're going to have to know that that's just a very good belief. We can't know for certain that those mosquitoes are going to cause malaria because it's an inductive process. Okay, you don't know the future. You don't know that that person's body is such that it cannot get malaria, even if the mosquitoes are carrying the virus for it. Right? There's a lot of things you don't know that you could be so certain about. Right? That'll make that not the case all the time. And so, when we use the word knowledge in a more philosophical sense, we mean it just like this, objective criteria. But our social conditioning allows us to accept less than adequate use of the word knowledge, as long as something simple like, oh, I know the mosquitoes cause malaria. If it's something simple and very common, you're not making a controversial claim or a scientific claim or philosophical claim, then it's okay, I would say, to use the words like that. I do that, I'll say things like, I know water boils 100 degrees Celsius, when I'm being ordinary and being regular. When I get philosophical, I'll say, I believe. And I have a good belief because of the studies of science. All right. It's a good belief. This is somewhat controversial, but to get into the epistemology and the uses of words, we're creating something here. We're using words in a very precise way. By the time we look at the theory, the philosophers are whittling down to get a precise sense of what constitutes that belief, what constitutes that knowledge. And those who dare will try to explain what opinion happens to be as well.